I'm angry. I've been angry for the past week. Let's talk about anger for artists. There's good anger and there's bad anger. Good anger, as you know, it's motivational anger. It's anger that wants you to improve yourself by not being satisfied with where you are. But I want to focus today on bad anger. It's really easy to feel bad anger, especially with social media. And I'll get into why social media has spawned bad anger for artists. So, first type of bad anger I want to talk about is resenting other artists for being where they are despite being less skilled or having put in less time and effort than you have. Here's the thing about social media. Most accounts are carefully crafted to only show you an image that you want to see. So they always edit out the bad parts and the parts that will make you realize that they're actually human. Yes, they can be like, I'm gonna be real with y'all and post like a bad sketch or something. But let's be real. You're not gonna post the actual bad sketches, the ones that make you like, oh, maybe I should stop following them. They're never gonna post those, okay? And that's why it's really easy to forget that these accounts you see online, even if they're younger or less experienced, they still go through the same struggles of creating bad art that you do. You don't see the dedication and time they had to put in to get there. As a kid, I was very technically skilled when it came to realism and graphite, like graphite on paper. I was very good at portraits and anatomy, and people would always be like, how are you doing that? You're like 8. The reason why I was able to do that was because they didn't see the time I dedicated to studying anatomy. Like you can't really like study anatomy as an 8-year-old because you don't really know what you're doing. But I wasn't drawing fan art, not because I didn't want to. It's just more that I found more satisfaction in the validation I received from creating realistic art. And so I would focus on realistic art. Most people will not want to show you the effort they put in because it's gonna be an embarrassing amount. Oh, shit. So, it's okay to feel angry that you're not where you are when looking at other people, but don't feel resentment for not being where you are despite being older. There's always the possibility that the other person put in a astronomically greater amounts of effort than you think. Let's move on to the second form of resentment, and that's being technically skilled, being more technically skilled than other artists, but not receiving the same kind of validation. And this is where social media really hits you right where it hurts, because they got everything down to the T when it comes to validation. Likes, followers, engagements, shares, comments. There are so many ways to receive validation. So when a post blows up, oh my, it's like drugs. It's literally like drugs. When you feel angry about not getting the attention that other artists are getting, I want you to think back to the effort they had to put in to get those followers, to get those likes. Every time you feel pissed, I want you to check their profile and see if this anger is justified. How many posts are they making? Are you posting more than them or not posting more than them? If you're posting like once a week and they're posting once every day, you have no right to feel angry, no matter how bad their art is. Because social media is a numbers game. The more you post, the higher your chances of going viral and receiving validation. That is so important. At a certain point, it's a gamble. Receiving validation from social media is such a gamble on your mental health because the process of going viral is a gamble. Think of every post like a lottery ticket. The more you have, the higher your chances are of winning the lottery. So that's why for some artists, they might make really bad art, but they make so much of it, it just keeps coming, and the algorithm picks up on that and thinks, let me show some of these to people because they're making a lot of art. And if they go viral and people like them, then they're gonna post more content and it's better for the platform. That's how I think Instagram thinks about it. So if you're not posting as much as them, don't be pissed. The thing you guys need to realize is that there are also different types of engagement you can receive. So if you're receiving more comments and shares, that's actually technically better than receiving more likes because that is more personal engagement and the algorithm will like that more than a bunch of likes. Likes is easy. You just blip, 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 blip. Comments. Comments, you need a brain to comment. You don't get smooth brains in the comments. You get a lot of smooth brains, yes, but you don't get like a no brain because you need a brain to at least comment, you know? Fucking fish can like a post with its tail or something. You need like a mammal to comment. I've had times where trendy audio reels blow up, right? And the thing about these trendy audio reels is that yes, they blow up and yes, they give you a bunch of followers, but it's not consistent. When I did like a pie crew trend on Instagram, and that shit blew up. It got like, I don't know, 70k likes or something. And so that gave me a boost in followers of like 2k. 2k followers. And I was like, yay! Oh my god, I'm growing! And then the trend ended. People stopped using my audio and format. And no more growth. I was back to like, I don't know, 10 people liking my posts. Recently, for the past couple months, I've been doing art education and help videos. And when those blew up, it was insane the growth I got. I went from 2k to like 10k in the span of a week. I was so surprised because to like right now, a month or 2 months ago, it keeps getting interaction. I keep getting followers from it. Content where you can actively engage with it as an artist, that content will keep followers hooked onto you. And so obviously you don't have to resort to educational tips and art tips, but I want you to figure out the type of engagement you're getting. If you see people with like bad art getting this type of validation while you're getting a different type, I want you to know it's perfectly okay. In fact, your like social media validation might be what you want instead of what they're getting. You just haven't realized it. If you're looking for engaged audience that will buy from you, for example, you're going to want to focus on follower, comments, and shares because that means they truly watch through the whole thing and care about what you're talking about. At the end of the day, you don't need validation. So long as you're satisfied with your art, you should be fine with it. We've talked about forms of anger where it involves other people. Now let's talk about anger that involves only yourself. And this is where the real shit goes down. This is where the mental challenges arise. Because when it's just you alone with your thoughts, you can't blame it on anyone. It's just you. This is also where it gets hard to differentiate between good and bad anger. Because like I said, good anger motivates you, right? And so it's easy to think that this anger you have, it's justified because it's making you work harder. No. You're working harder, but you're also doing what? Getting burnt out. There will undoubtedly be periods of your life where you simply cannot make art. The situation just doesn't allow for it. I changed rooms. It's really easy to get angry at yourself because you know yourself. You know how many times you binge scrolled social media, right? You know how many hours you watched Netflix for at like 2 a.m. in the morning. You know that side of you, and so you feel extra guilty when you don't produce the amount of art that you want to produce. And a healthy amount of stress is good because it motivates you to stop fucking around, stop procrastinating, and get to work. But it's really easy to overlook the fact that you are still human. It is okay to dedicate time to other things, including hobbies and responsibilities. Of course, you need to dedicate time to art as well. So you need to dedicate time to your passion, or else you're not going to be consistently growing. But if you force this process to the point of exhaustion, you're going to get burnt out. Like, I've experienced burnout with commissions, for example. I would get really excited whenever I got a commission because, hey, money. But I would get really mad at myself for not finishing the commission in the time I wanted to finish it in. I would get really mad at myself because I just kept going over the time limit I would set. And that just caused me to burn out because I would just keep taking on commissions thinking that if I just do one more, I'll learn faster and I'll draw faster. And I didn't understand that this avalanche of work you put on yourself thinking that if you do more, you're going to improve more, it doesn't work that way. You need space. You need time to reflect and see introspection. It's like how when you sleep is when you develop memories. It's similar in that aspect, and you need to give yourself breaks to fully process what you've learned. You can't just take on another thing and think you're going to absorb what you've already done. What if instead of creating too much art to the point of burnout, you're not creating enough art? Well, again, don't force yourself or you might get into burnout. But if you're really struggling to find time to even put art in your schedule in the first place, that's a completely valid reason to feel angry at yourself. It's really frustrating, especially when it's not like you're just fucking around, you know? It's because you have responsibilities and duties. And I want you to acknowledge that it's not because you're fucking around. It's because you genuinely have things to do. And if art is a hobby for you, then you need to acknowledge that this is for yourself. What's the point of continuing a hobby if it's just going to further stress you out? If it's causing you more stress than when you originally started the hobby, there's no point continuing it. Therefore, you need to find a way to see results while keeping your mental health in check. So yes, it's okay to feel angry. It's good to feel angry, to want to do more. But don't feel angry at your circumstance. Don't feel angry to the point that you feel you've lost control on what you can do. You are always in control. When you truly believe you're always in control, the resentment part of the anger goes away because you no longer feel like there is something holding you back. Instead, you feel like this is something that's gonna come to pass. I just have to deal with it for now, and I'm gonna find a solution. But stressing out about it is not gonna help me. It's not gonna improve things. It's gonna make things worse, and it's just gonna take away the joy from the craft. Whenever you feel angry with yourself, look at that part of yourself and think, is this anger holding me back? Is it the thing I'm angry about holding me back? Or is it this anger holding me back from just enjoying what I want to do? Those were the 3 forms of anger I most commonly see, and I want you to know it's okay to feel them. It's completely normal. They're not bad feelings. They're just feelings that happen as a result of how art is portrayed nowadays. I hope to see you in the next video.